Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. Myself, I'm still tired. Weather has been really hectic here in Oklahoma for reasons known and unknown. I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock because of severe storms and rain and thunders, and I didn't really, the storm was warned with up to baseball size hail. We didn't get any in my area, but I can tell you it was raining so loud and thunder and all that. So hi Catherine, thank you for making it, Elaine. Hi Karen, hi the second Karen. I'm just going by the order in which you came up on the screen in chat. So what I'm going to use is, we are going to do several variants. Some with, this is all translucent clay. In this one I mixed a little bit of ultramarine blue. In this one I mixed a little bit of ultramarine blue and a pinch of white. In this one a pinch of white, and in this one a pinch of ultramarine blue and black, and this is just plain. And I already made one base so that we can work on it. I'll show you how to make the base, and then we'll switch to working on this specific one. And then I'll show you how to do druzys using a resin mold, and then using the resin and the polymer clay, taking it out of the mold and baking it. Weird. My weird method of baking, of applying the resin first and then baking. And I can assure you it works. Okay, so I'm going to be relatively short today because of reasons of tiredness. And also because it is possible that there's another storm forming just on top of my area, and even if right now everything is southeast, but I'm saying that because, and I will show you why I'm saying that, because this is the mesonet dew point, and the yellow line represents the dry line. Generally speaking, the more towards 70 and above it is, the more chances of storms, but usually the storms form right at the dry line. And you can see I am right here, actually. Oklahoma City East, it's southeast. But it is 67, it's not super high. But as you can see, there's something brewing. I don't know when it's going to happen. The barometer is under 30 inches, so it might happen sometime. Anyway, today's high is not supposed to be over 80, so it's nice. I might take a nap in the afternoon. Hi, Carrie. Isn't that too late for you there? You're in the middle of the night, aren't you? All right, so first let's try and make this druzy so that I can just simply show you how to make it. And you start with, here I started with a piece of this, but I don't have to start it necessarily with that. And I can just, I'm gonna do this, and I'm going to use the same cutter. So just making a bead, and then, oops, dropping it, making a second bead. Okay, making a second bead, striving not to drop it. So making it first round and then a little bit oval, and then I'm going to place it on my tile and flatten it. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this white tinted, and I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. Kind of like enough to cover this thing. And I can see where my edges are. Let me grab my eyes. Hi, Darla. Yeah, and I was thinking today a few minutes ago, because I almost started too late because I got I'm very pissed at Amazon. But I'll tell you in a minute why. But I got an Amazon delivery, and the guy was just ringing my doorbell like crazy. Even if my actual door is open, it's just the glass door that's closed, so it was obvious there was somebody home. I guess he wanted me to get at the door, but so I had to drop everything and go and see what's going on. But what I was going to say is that there is talk about guard dogs, right? But nobody talks about guard cats. And I, believe you me, there are quite a bit of guard cats out there, you know. I always know when somebody's at my door because my cats, and actually not all of them, Seamus doesn't really do that. Seamus just follows the pack, looking scared all over the place. Hi, Kanchana. But both Connor and Finnegan, they would run at me growling very ferociously. So I always know when there's somebody around. And in my long life, I had a lot of pets, and a lot of them were cats. And I actually did have a cat that would attack if it felt that the owner's, his mama, was in danger. He actually attacked once a German Shepherd, almost left him blind because he jumped on his head and started doing with the back paws like this on its eyes. Yeah. Cats can be very ferocious. Ferocious. Okay, did I start with this or with this? I think I started with the blue. Yeah, I started with the blue. So let's go with a little bit of the more greenish blue. And I do have a couple of tutorials where I show you how to make druzys with polymer clay and liquid clay. If you look in my playlist with 4 gemstones, you can find them. Actually, let me give you the link to the playlists. There's a separate playlist with turquoises, but there's a playlist just with gemstones as soon as I find it. There we go. Let me see if it's a good link. It's a long link. I don't know if it's going to let me do this. Yes, it does. So in that you will see that there is a faux druzy, and one is with faux druzy heart pendants, and this would be the link. And then as an easy peasy faux druzy. That is this one. Alrighty. Now let me get back to my thing here. So as you can see, I'm just using my needle to go around, and it works just fine. And again, I'm going to gently shape it, and then what I'm going to do is to, and again, you can do it with your needle, you can do it with a blade, you can do it with the back of your the blunt part. Oh, that's cute, Darla. Now I think that my the reason my cats act like that is because obviously the two older ones, the twins, the ginger twins, they have been raised by dogs. Because when I first got them in, I had both Maya and Whisper. Finnegan came when there was only Whisper, but when I got Finnegan, Whisper was not entirely deaf and immobile. He was a little bit more moving, and he could hear people. Oh, I'm going to go back to it like this. And you want to make sure that all the thing here is nice and flat. And then I'm going to go all the way in. I'm just making those lines that agates have. And again, I am and then the last part, I'm going to use my needle and do some pulling. Because we want all this to happen. And don't worry, because you're gonna ask yourself, is it going to, won't it show all this stuff when it's done? No, it will not, because it's gonna be covered by stuff. Alright, so now I have this. And I'm going to go back on here. And just kind of flatten it. It's still going to have a little bit of curve, cabochon style, but it's going to be way more flattened. And now I'm going to take it out. And you want it to be slightly larger than your cutter. I'm going to place it here. And by the way, everything that I'm showing you, except maybe for some of the acrylic paints, but even those you can find some. You can find either on PolyClay Play, and please don't forget to use my affiliate link. And you can find my affiliate link if you don't have it yet. Let me show you how you can file it. Just a second. You can find it either on my website. This is my influencer store on Amazon, and this is the PolyClay Play link. And then another thing that you can do is you can go to my channel, and you can go to my channel from any of my videos. Actually, like if you go to any of my videos and you click, it's going to get to my channel, and then you click about, and here's all my pages and stuff. Okay, now I need to turn this off. Now I am at this point with this, and the last thing I need to add is this darker grayish translucentish thing, because remember the druzys are actually geodes that were cut either by cleaving them or with saws. They have special jewelry saws, so you want to give it that geode look, because geodes look like little wrinkled boulders. I don't know how to explain otherwise. So I'm going with it a little wider to make sure that I cover all my thing here. And then again grab the extra to take it off. You don't have to be super precise when you're removing the extra, because it's gonna go away with when you cut it. And then one more time I'm going to do this, and then you can use a very tight crumpled cellophane. You can use a very large grain towel. You can use a sponge, or if you have already these texturing sponges, these are the best. And they are not for sale anymore, but if you go in my Amazon influencer store, in the textures section, I did find some filter sponges for fish tanks that are very good to texture with. So I did one, and then I'm gonna go back and apply it again so I can get a lot of these wrinkly things, because it's practically hardened lava, and then the crystals inside are formed by the pressure. That's when they start crystallizing. And then I simply cut. going to throw this or put it in the pile because I'm going to use some of it to show you the other way. Alright, and the last thing that I want to do with this, because you see we have a little bit of the stuff on the sides, see? And the last thing that I need to do with it is to use some acrylic. Now for this part you need some acrylic paint that would be, this is something that's used a lot as a baking blank. It's actually what's called a steel soap. Is the stuff that you use after in the kitchen after you chopped onions or garlic. You just rub it on your hands to remove the smell. But they make wonderful baking blanks, and if not, you can use just the bottom, hold on, I have some here, the bottom of soda cans. You can use these if you don't want to buy it, if you don't have a lot of, they work just great as baking blanks. Okay, now the last part of it, you're gonna need 2 colors of acrylic. One of them, it's preferably not to be black, to be something more of a dark gray or close to it. I have here this black green thing that works good, and then something that's preferably not to be white, but to be more like a light gray or any kind of light color. So I just got the natural buff, whatever, it doesn't really matter a lot. So again, I'm not going to need a whole bunch of paint brushes and stuff. As you can see, I filled it, but I don't let it fill. I kind of wipe it here and then dab. Actually, I wiped it too much. Yeah, they're great for earrings and for big oval beads or round beads if you use the cans. And I am so sorry I didn't find it anymore, because I had at one point in my influencer store other shapes, among which there was a heart-shaped one, and I didn't even get one for myself. I am so, they are not very expensive and they last, because they are steel, they last forever, and you don't need to apply release or anything. Okay, so I got that, but it doesn't look very natural. This would look more natural. So what we need to do is to get the lighter color and do kind of sort of the same thing. Again, don't let your paper towel get too loaded. And then I'm going to turn it inside out and practically lift the color from here, and you get that volcanic rock type thing look. So this is how it will look. Now for creating the whole aspect of druzes, because again, what are druzes? They are halves or slices of geodes, and the geodes are like balls or eggs that have this aspect on the outside, and then when they are cracked they have a whole bunch of crystals on the inside, but right under the outer layer, that's where the agates come from. They are strata, they are layers of agate, and then right in the middle there's crystals. In some of them it's full of crystals, in some of them there's empty space, and then they are like, there's like an egg of crystals or directed towards the middle. But in one of the tutorials I linked, I used actual chopped polymer clay, chopped and very finely chopped and baked. In another one I used some big glitter. And what I want to show you, if you are into it, if you're going to check this, I got this from PolyClay Play, and I think that she still has them. Let me just check here. Glitter. If you don't, there's some in my, yes, she does have it. It's the Fina Bear glass glitter. And why you want it is because she has 3 colors, I see, and I do have them here to show them to you. And I think I have it in my influencer store as well. But the glass glitter is the one that you want, because it's pretty much the diamond dust works also very good for smaller geodes if you want. But from what Trish has there, so she had the violet, this is the violet, as you can see, because it's not really flat, it's more like pieces of glass. And that also means that being glass, it's not going to change. And the velvet is green. Other stuff that I have here is midnight blue, crimson red, and pearl. That's just plain white. And then I'm gonna use some cheapo regular glitter, not super holographic, not super anything. This was on hold on, I turned off something. This was a sale at Hobby Lobby. You can see I have no idea when it was a sale, but I've had this for a while. So it's fairy dust, fine glitter. But there are so many glitters like this that you can use whatever you want. So I'm going to put this away too, and then so I can get rid of the polymer clay. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this, and I guess this is one that I did not cut. I usually cut, they have these little nipples, I don't know how to call them, but I'm talking about these things that are supposed to be excellent for putting bales and things. Well, they might be, but they are exceptionally bad when it comes to pushing the resin behind them. So I always cut them off. So let's go with this one because it's also oval. So I cut the nipple. So what I'm going to do is make some little snakes out of this. First, let me make my snakes first. And I forgot to put in the title that I'm going to also use liquid clay, not just the resin. And another thing you have to keep in mind, for this specific one, you need, remember I showed you before, there are some of the resin molds that are more opaque, and those work fine with 2 parts resin, or where you don't have to go on the back. But generally speaking, when you use UV resin with inclusions, it's a good idea to turn it on the other side and put it back in the UV light. And when they are transparent, the UV light will go through it. When they are not, and sometimes if you pull it out and it might be still sticky on the back and you put it on under the UV light, it's going to be not shiny. It's going to be sticky, you know, like when you touch your nail polish and it's still sticky. You know, that kind of thing you leave there. Okay, so let's hope I don't drop anything else. Yeah, so I've been doing this morning, I haven't been doing anything outside. I woke up at 4 by, I think it was like 6 o'clock when it stopped raining, something like that, 6:30. And I thought of trying to get a little bit more sleep. I kind of dozed off for a little bit, at least. And then I've been just not doing much, honestly, because of tiredness and stuff. I couldn't have worked out in the garden because everything was so wet. I cracked up because I guess this was the first big rain since Sebastian was outdoors, because I told you he's definitely been an indoors kitten. He was super clean when he showed up at my house, and he also, you could see he used to wear a collar because you could see the line on his neck. But there were a lot of big puddles of water, and Sebastian wasn't sure what it was, so he went to each puddle of water and was going. I was just feeling too tired to go back inside and grab my camera. All right, and then another one like this. All right, now they don't have to be super perfect by any means. You just need some lines. Of course, if you want, you can just go with them through the machine and then cut lines. It's up to you. But to me, this makes them a little bit more easy to be more random, more organic, more however you want to call it. Yes, cats can be very funny people. My Seamus is the only cat, the only one of my cats who is giving love bites. But at one point he started pushing it. And I mean, the love bites were getting fiercer and fiercer. So I kind of sort of measured this. Kind of, sort of. And because he's a bully, okay? He's a scaredy cat, but he's also a bully. So I guess he was trying to do some pecking order with me. Because he was just starting to bite harder and harder. And at one point he started getting swatted whenever he would try to give me love bites. And for quite a bit he did not deal in love bites anymore. I'm just kind of sort of stacking them. And I'm just flattening them enough to get a good so I'm using the flat part, the blunt part of the blade. So this morning he tried again to give me a love bite and got promptly swatted. So he ran away. He tried to bully Connor. He got yelled at. He tried to bully Finnegan. He got his ass kicked. Finnegan is mean. And I mean mean. He's adorable. He knows he's adorable. He's going to try get all advantages from that. But he can be mean and vindictive if he sees any of the other two getting what he considers too much attention. He's going to go after them. He waits until I leave the room or I'm not looking at them, and he's going to attack them. And his favorite bullying victim, hi Sandra, is Seamus, because when he was a baby, Seamus was trying to bully him. So now it's his turn. I generally don't interfere unless I hear some crying. That's the only time I interfere with them. All right, so that would be here, but I need more. Didn't go enough through. Give me just a second, I need to check something. Turn on the AC. Little Napoleon. Well, yeah, he is a little Napoleon, but he has no complexes. And I told you, when you look at him, he looks as big as them, but it's all fur. Okay, let's check again. Now it looks a little bit better. Hi Mona, I'm glad you did. So you want it very nicely against the walls and make sure that it reaches the bottom here. And my last thing will be to let me use a thinner blade. Cut anything that might be extra. Alrighty. Now one of these days I do need to do, because I have quite a bit of 2 parts resin, and I'm going to do some big coaster druzy thingies. Alrighty. Now, first thing first, I am going to scoop some, let's go with the white. I have some here. These I also get from PolyClay. They are awesome to scoop stuff with. And you want to scoop these all on the edge here. It's preferable to work with this in the white, just for the reason that it will allow, if you work with 2 parts resin, then you can use any color, but it's preferably, oops, I made a mess. It's preferably to use the white one because it will allow the light to go through. So as you can see, I'm going at the edges. Maybe I should. Hi James, thank you. Let me go a little bit zoom. And I'm very miffed because after the latest Windows update, somehow I cannot manage to focus my camera properly. It will hold a perfect focus for a very split second, and then it goes, nah. Alrighty, so on this I'm going to pour some resin on. Should I use the new one, or let me use the new one so I don't have 2 kinds. And I am starting in the middle and then go a little bit wider and wider, and wider. I don't want to fully fill it to start with. I'm going to kind of drag it in the ends here a little bit. It's going to look very quartz-like. And yes, it can be baked afterwards without a problem. I think I need a little bit more glitter. Where's my glitter? Here's my glitter. Okay. And at this point I do not touch my little scoop in the resin anymore, because I don't want it to be resin contaminated. All right. So back comes the just make sure that you have resin pretty much all over that any part of the glitter will get in contact with the resin. Now I can stop here if I want for more realism and just put a little bit more resin right in the middle, but I shall not. So at this point most of my glitter is in touch with resin. Let's make sure that it's all against the polymer clay and that it is fairly flat. So I can leave it like this if I want to. Let me try again with that focus, maybe, who knows. Is this better? Let's leave it here. The regular, I think it's called Cincing. It's got this thing here. It's spelled Q-I-N-G. All right, so at this point what I want is a little bit more bling to make it have more appeal. So very gently. And you don't use a lot of it. Yes, you can find it in my influencer store, and also this one that I like to work with a lot. And this one it is you can find it in both hard and soft. The same as this one, you can find it in hard and soft, but the soft one is reddish, coral and orange are the colors on it. Okay, so at this point I do have some glitter even on some regular glitter even on the ice glitter, and my last thing to do is to pour more resin. And the resin that I pour in the middle, it's going to displace the one that already exists there. And I got a bubble. There we go. want to make sure that it is enough to push and make the rest of the stuff all nice and even. I have another bubble. Oh, come on. There are a lot of boo-boos that I did when I started working with resin. Some of them were that and some things I didn't realize that stuff can become invisible in resin. And at one point I was scouting a fairy. Yeah, this one is the best. These two that I showed you are the best price per quantity. Get it in here. So I was at that time I was scouting a fairy that was in a teacup, and yeah, some rhinestones, because I had found a really nice old style China English Victorian teacup with a saucer at a Goodwill store. So I was scouting a fairy taking a bath in that teacup, you know, like the teacup was her bathtub. And I was like, what can I use to do the bubbles? Because I wanted her to be like in a bubble bath. And I was like, oh, glass beads. You know, the beads that don't have a hole in them. And I got some glass beads and they disappeared. That's when I realized that I need glass beads that have that oil slick on them like the rhinestones. Because, like the AB rhinestones, because if you use just regular glass beads and resin, they gotta go bye-bye. So yeah, all kinds of, you know, beginner stuff. Okay, with these ones we are going to go with the blue. Okay, this is the green. This is the blue. Okay, and this one will be with polymer clay and liquid clay. So it's a pain to get the toothpicks out when they start getting past half. All right, so liquid clay, and I am going to spread it, spread it, spread it. Glitter. It's not smelly. I don't really too smelly, but it, you know, it all depends on how sensitive you are. And yes, some resins are more smelly than others. They are. I want this to be very well and nicely covered. And I'm turning this upside down in the UV lamp, so the other side can be really well done too. And then I'm going to start, where's my eyes? There's my eyes. I'm going to start loading some glitter. and then a little bit more liquid clay. And try to keep the glitter towards the middle. I mean the glass glitter, not the regular glitter. And final thing, the last, I'm gonna do like Cameron and say bam. And this should be it, but of course for this I'm going to have to use to move my camera a little bit, because I don't want the heat from the heat gun to get into this. And as usual, I'm going to first heat it up on low a little and then go on high. Something became pink. Alrighty. Yeah, I think that something had some dye in it. Okay, I'm going to refocus this so I can show you exactly how it looks like, but before I do that, I'm going to take this out. Alrighty. I'm not going to lie to you, the Faux druzys are much easier done and much better done with 2 parts resin. But then you'll have to create the edge thing as well. Alrighty, so this is the polymer clay one with liquid clay. You can scoop it more and then fill just the middle, but then you'll have to bake it first and then use the heat gun on it, because if you don't use the heat gun on it, and I'm using the liquid polyclay, it will not become transparent. But as you can see, it's super transparent. Oops. And this is the other one. Maybe using the white was not that super of an idea. Why don't we try with the blue? Let's try with the blue, because I don't like this. I didn't expect them to disappear so badly. Alrighty, so blue. This is not what I wanted. Yeah, I think it was from the glass. Not the glass, the regular glitter. I think it had something, because it was on the edges where it was mostly regular glitter that I saw the pink thing. Okay, so let's try with the blue, see if it does a better job. I'm not gonna do the sides, I can add them after. And I'm going to work faster with this so I don't keep you. But I do have one of those days, you know, I mean, you know, when something doesn't work right and then your whole day is messed up. It's one of those days, because I woke up at 4 o'clock, and then I tried to sleep at 8 till 8, but it was like mostly dozing on and off, pretty much. But yeah, when you work, and I need to make a tutorial on how to work this with the AB resin, 2 parts resin, because you can create all those layers, and probably you've seen some tutorials on YouTube like that. But when you create the layers, you can color them with opaque colors, because if it's AB resin, you don't have to worry about it being opaque, right? Okay, so I'm going to push it a little bit towards the edges. It's not very well mixed here. Okay, so mix, mix, mix. Push towards the edges. As much as possible. We'll see if it does cure. Then, yeah, see, that's some pink there. So it's from the glass. You were right, it's from the glass. Okay. I thought it was from the regular one. And then I'm going to just drop some in the middle to push the other one away. And there's some in the this is just some fantasy stuff, not druzys. But it's fun. Okay, now let's see what we got here. And I'm going to refocus it for close-up. But this isn't too bad now. It does look pretty, but you cannot really see those crystals properly. And I did find something that works great for rutilated quartz, but that's a surprise. Going to happen sometime soon, but it is a surprise for now. And there are a lot of methods to do this more realistic, and hopefully I'll show you soon. I just keep, I have stuff that I'm working on, and it goes hard. It's hard for me to get back into the whole of things, and it's always pains, and the weather isn't helping. I've been trying to, and when I get to be totally engrossed in it and something, I hear outside boom 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 boom. I'm like, not again. Yes, again, Mother Nature says, frowning. I can do whatever I want. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I actually had taped this, but it got messed up. And this is a little, just to show you, this is a little Valentine's trinket thing. And I have a so-called ashtray. I wouldn't use resin as an ashtray for anything in the world. Give me just a second. Turn it upside down. The same style. This is supposed to be an ashtray, but these are tests that I did with various resins to obtain the actual patterns of geodes. And in this one, it's not, I was trying to do it with an ashtray, but as you can see, it didn't really work. It only worked because this goes like this, is in the mold. So there's a raised part here, and then it goes like this, and it only did it on the surface. So obviously it only works in those coaster molds. It does a good effect, but this is what you can do with 2 parts resin. And these are all kinds of stuff that are things that are going to go in the destashes. Doing stuff like this. What do you think about this? Interesting, huh? And this is part of my experiments for boulder opal. It's not in the proper colors, but I don't always use I'm looking for the technique, not the colors. So, yeah. Okay, that thing, she's almost done on the back. So we'll see if it cured. Or if it is a big blooper. See the pinkish? Hold on, let me refocus. And definitely the blue leaves a pinkish. See the pinkish stuff, yeah. Quite interesting, really. More noticeable than this one, obviously, but not entirely druzy-ish. It's pretty though. I would put a tiny itty bitty minuscule seahorse in here. I don't know why, but this is what it inspires me to do. It's very 3D now. So anyway, so these are quick fixes for it's one of those more for beginners things, and we are going to do something else, but I didn't want to go into something more complicated today because, as I said, and that's why I didn't schedule a live until this morning, because I didn't know if I would be able to even have it. I was even telling the ladies in my group that I don't know if I'm gonna be able to have the live tomorrow. But yeah, it's got a pink cast to it. Interesting. I'm gonna have to experiment to see what the red and the green and the orange. That is crimson red. No, the violet, the red, and the green do. It's not. I was calling violet red. Yes, it does. So I hope I inspired you to go and play with resin a little bit today, because it's so awesome to play with resin. So I shall see you next Sunday. Hopefully I'll be more rested, because there's a certain cane that I want to do with you that I hope you shall like. It's a surprise, but it's very, very artistic, easy to make. Artistic but easy to make, and I'm sure that you will like it. Okay. Thank you, Elaine. Don't forget to thumbs up, and don't forget to use my affiliate link so I can have giveaways again. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful what's left of the weekend. Bye.